Okay, we are going to learn how to solve equations that involve a rational exponent, meaning an exponent that is a fraction. And to kind of scaffold our way there, let's sort of think about two things. So, think about the fraction 2/3. What is the reciprocal of 2/3? Well, it's 3/2. What if we multiply the fraction 2/3 by its reciprocal? What do we get? Well, multiplying fractions, we multiply the top with the top. 2 times 3 is 6. We multiply the bottom with the bottom. 3 times 2 is 6. And what is 6 divided by 6? That's 1. So if I multiply 2/3 by its reciprocal, I get 1. Is that going to be true for any fraction? Well, think about any fraction a over b, and let's multiply by its reciprocal b over a. Well, a times b is ab. B times a is ba, but isn't ba the same as ab? Isn't 6 times 7 the same as 7 times 6? It is. And that's the same, and that reduces to 1. So if we multiply any fraction by its reciprocal, we're going to get 1. The second thing I want to go back over, something we kind of forget sometimes, what happens if we have an exponent thing to another exponent, a power to a power? Well, if this was x squared times x to the fifth with two bases, we would add the exponents and get x to the seventh, but that's not what we have here. We have x squared to the fifth, so a power to a power. In that case, we're going to multiply the exponents. We're going to multiply the 2 times the 5. All right. Keeping these two things in mind, let's look at this equation right here. How do I solve this equation? Well, I need to raise 3/5 to an exponent that will sort of cancel it so that we have just an x left. Well, what is just x? X is like x to the 1. So what exponent can I put on this that will give me a 1? Well, we just saw it, the reciprocal. So we're going to raise both sides of this equation to the 5/3, or the reciprocal of 3/5. So we'll raise both sides to the 5/3. And on the left, a power to a power, we multiply. Well, what's 3/5 times 5/3? What is something times its reciprocal? That's always going to give us a 1. On the left, this is 27 to the 5/3. Now, you can put this in your calculators. You can put something in your calculators to the exponent power. For those of you who are going on to AP calculus, where you'll have to do this by hand, remember the denominator is an nth root. So the divided by 3 gives you a cubed root, and the numerator is the exponent, so that'll be raised to the 5th. So what is the cubed root of 27? That's 3. But now that's still to the 5th power. And what is 3 to the 5th power? Well, that is 243. So we get an answer of 243. All right, so how do we solve an equation that has a fraction exponent on it? Well, we're going to raise both sides to the reciprocal exponent, and that will help us solve the problem. So let's look at one more of these. What if we had 3x plus 4 to the 1/2 power? How would I solve this equation? Well, I'm going to raise both sides to the reciprocal. So 3x plus 4 to the 1/2 is equal to 6. So I'm going to put parentheses around both sides. And I'm going to raise both sides to the reciprocal, which, what's the reciprocal of 1/2? It's 2 over 1, or 2. The 1/2 times 2, that becomes a 1. So we're left with 3x plus 4. And on the right, 6 squared is 36. So 3x is equal to 32. So x here is going to be 32 halves. Final answer.